the professional spends at least or loses one whole day every week looking for information because there's so many different places it can be. Every additional tool, piece of software that you have to store and share information, it's adding more complexity. It's another place to search for information. You've got 120 unread messages and your phone has buzzed for the 10th time in the last hour. You need to find one crucial document, but you can't remember if it's in Google Drive, Dropbox, and an old Slack thread that feels like the business is running you. The sheer volume of information isn't just a nuisance, it's a thief, stealing your focus, eroding your productivity, and leading straight to burnout. Welcome to Mastering Business Flow, the essential podcast for business owners ready to transform their work life. I'm your host, Lindow, a certified productivity and systems expert. I'll help you close that critical CEO gap, the gap between working hard and having real control over your business. We dive into the systems and skills of high-performing CEOs so that you can stop being stuck in daily tasks and start flourishing today. It's time to achieve simpler, higher quality living. Let's start. Have you ever walked into your office or maybe just sat down at your desk and immediately felt that wave of mental fatigue hit you? You look at your email box, you've got 120 unread messages, and your phone has buzzed for the 10th time in the last hour. You need to find one crucial document, but you can't remember if it's in Google Drive, Dropbox, and an old Slack thread. You're running a business, but it feels like the business is running you. The sheer volume of information today isn't just a nuisance, it's a thief, stealing your focus, eroding your productivity, and leading straight to burnout. It costs the average employee a full day of work each week just looking for information. If you're the business owner, that cost is magnified. It's not just wasted time, it's lost revenue, delayed decisions, and capped growth. But what if the solution to this isn't working harder, but working smarter? My claim is this. In today's information society, the true disruptors, the business owners who achieve maximum time freedom and scale their operations, harness the power of tech tools to find clarity and cut through the noise. If you want a simple step-by-step roadmap for building these systems, I've created a free resource just for you. It's my no-cost business growth email course. One simple email arrives once a week, giving you a quick actionable step to get your foundational business systems running. You can sign up at cordslindow.com/business-growth. Today you're going to hear a true story about a company that was weighed down by information chaos. The FedUp owners sold it, and I was brought in to fix the mess. And I'm going to show you how we went from two owners working 50 hours a week to the new owner running the entire operation remotely in less than 10 hours a week. The secret? Building a second brain. Fueled by technology, following the three pillars of clarity: capture, systematize, and review. Are you ready to stop managing chaos and start leading your business? Let's dive in. The story of this business. There were two business owners had worn out. They'd run their business for years. They had no system to manage the information in the business. Everything had to go through them, and it was slowing them down. They were spending more than 50 hours a week. People were searching for papers, trying to find things. Every single project was a new project and a new system. They were fed up and they sold their business. That's when I came in. I was hired by the new owner to help them analyze the information that they needed and to streamline the processes and set up a digital system. Now the new owner runs the company remotely on less than 10 hours a week. Both of the former owners do still work there, but they are much reduced in workload and enjoying it a lot more. One isn't even there 2 days. The problem is this: there's just too much information in the world, and it's overwhelming. There's 150 exabytes in 2006. 1 exabyte is 1 million bytes. So that's 150 of these millions. And that's the amount of information, digital information, floating around the earth in 2006. In 2021, that number is up to 40,000 exabytes. What does this mean for you? 120 daily emails, 146 daily notifications. That means you are getting a notification every 10 minutes. How does this add up? Well, that means you've got so much information to sift through that you have to look for things when you need them. It is estimated that the average worker spends 2.5 hours a day looking for information. That means there's at least a day every week that they're losing. And think about what you could do with that day every week. How many clients are you losing or not able to serve because of that day lost to searching for emails? What does this mean for us as workers, as employees, as business owners? It means that we are not able to focus and be productive like we should. The sheer volume of digital information is distracting. It is a challenge that makes it almost impossible for us to focus on what's really important by this overwhelming information, trying to sort through all the noise. It means constant interruptions and distractions so that it's actually harder to get anything done because there's just so much information to sift through. The other thing is increased stress and burnout. The fact that we are constantly bombarded and we feel like in a constant state of survival, trying to process all this information. It's this overwhelming sense of guilt and anxiety and mental anguish, just of this volume of information. We feel like we have to do something with it. It also means we have impaired decision making. It's more difficult to make decisions when we have more choices and more information to sift through. This information overload leads to analysis paralysis. So we have so much information that we don't know what to do with it, results in either poor or delayed strategic decisions. A quote from Albert Einstein once said, "I make it a rule not to clutter my mind with simple information that I can find in a book in 5 minutes." Now, this is a great rule of thumb. We've got all this information and our brain is trying to hold it. Just try this little exercise. Right now, just close your eyes and think about how many things are floating through your mind, to-dos, something that you need to remember. Just think about that for a minute. Now, each of those things is floating around in your mind and distracting you from what you really need to do because your brain wants you to hold on to it. It thinks it's important. It knows it needs to hold on to it. But as soon as it's written down or it's somewhere else, it's taking away that mental clutter. That's what we need to do. We need to find a way to take away some of that mental clutter, that it's not messing up our brain for true focus and progress. Every bit of information that is kind of like on the table of your brain, so it's not filed away in a filing cabinet. It's sitting there unsorted. It's something that you have to struggle with and think about what to do with, and it is draining some of your energy. So what you need to have is a second brain. This is a term that was popularized by Tiago Forte in his book called Second Brain. And essentially what this means is you want to have a system for taking the information that's important and capturing it and then being able to find that information and use it when you need it. Once you capture and have a system for this information, your brain isn't trying to hold on to it anymore. You're reducing that mental load and mental strain on your brain. So this is why we call it a second brain. It's holding on to the information so that your primary brain can focus on the task at hand, what you're dealing with right now in front of you, and not distracted by the million other things that are bouncing around. By having this information sorted in a second brain, then you're able to focus on what's really important. Saint Mihai said, "The information we allow into consciousness becomes extremely important. It is, in fact, what determines the content and the quality of life. The shape and content of life depend on how attention has been used. Entirely different realities will emerge depending on how it's invested." This is why if you have that second brain, you can kind of filter through and find the information when you need it. So many times we're just bombarded by this information. We're trying to hold on to it. That's creating stress in our current reality. And then when we need the information, it's not there. But if we can pull upon that information, that is going to help us in the moment. This is what can transform our lives. If you're the person who is able to successfully pull that information versus one who is not, is a difference between success and not. And by creating a second brain, you can make sure that you find the information when you need it that is going to help you to run your business much more successfully. It is going to improve the quality of your life, and it's going to eliminate distractions and reduce your mental strain. Now, I know this sounds like a lot, but there's basically 3 steps, 3 pillars of clarity that we're going to go through. Number 1 is capture. You're going to put everything in one place. All the information that you need, you want to have one place to keep it. Task, information, ideas, whatever it is. Number 2, systematize. You want to have a clear, simple system to organize that information after you capture it so that you can find it again when you need it. And 3 is review. This is kind of housekeeping, keeping your systems clean, because otherwise it's just going to get overloaded and messy, just like the noise out there in the world. Now, let's get into each one of these in a little bit more detail. The first one, pillar 1, capture it, put it all in one place. This is the number 1 rule. Try to have just one system, one source of truth. I was working with a nonprofit, and we had each individual volunteer had information about their role, about projects that they had done. Then we had some communication by text, some communication by email, and essentially nobody could find the information. So what happened was you would switch positions, a new person would come on, they had no idea what the person before had done, or maybe there was somebody had said something in a meeting, but you couldn't remember what the information was, how to follow up with it. Because the information was in so many different places, you couldn't find it. You spent a lot of time looking for this information. So I came there, I created a Google workspace, which meant everybody was using the same email system, the same file structure. It could go from person to person as volunteers switched. It made an easy place to find the information. As I said before, the average employee, the professional, spends at least or loses one whole day every week looking for information because there's so many different places it can be. Every additional tool, piece of software that you have to store and share information, it's adding more complexity. It's another place to search for information. I recently made this mistake. I had made a presentation and I couldn't remember which presentation software I had made it on. I had used 3 different presentation software, so I was looking through my files and all of those, and it wasn't in Google, so I couldn't find it. So just by having everything in one system, I would not have lost all that time looking for the software because I knew it would have been in one place. The easiest way, if you have it all in one system, is you can just use the search bar. You don't even really need a good filing system, although I'll talk about that in a minute. But just by using the search bar, if it's all in one place, it'll make it a lot easier to find. The easiest way to do this for most small businesses is the Google Workspace. Now, I'm not talking about the personal workspace that you may have, mybusiness@gmail.com. I am talking about when you take your business name and you register it with Google. If you go straight to Google and buy the professional workspace, you can get it with your domain. So it'll be your name at mybusiness.com. And then what you get is dedicated files, storage, email, calendar, all in one place. And to be honest, most businesses could run simply off of Google Workspace if you wanted to, and then you would have just one location. In fact, most people do need some kind of file storage. Most other systems out there will not allow you to do everything. So that's a great starting place, just going with Google. Microsoft does the same thing, but it's a little bit more complex. And a lot of times people don't really capitalize on all the capabilities of the tools that they already have. And they'll have multiple programs that are doing the same thing, and which costs them more money. And again, you're losing the time as you're looking at all the different programs trying to find the information. So if you have just one, like Google Workspace, you have a lot of benefits. Number 1 is automation. Google has a lot of the AI tools built into it, so does Microsoft. So you can use it to, even it's linked between the different apps that they have. So for example, you have an email and you need to do some follow-up with that email, you can click a button and it adds a task. That task then shows up on your calendar. So this is a kind of automation that you can put in there that helps you right away. Also, there's Gemini is written into their documents, their email, and search bar, obviously, that can help you to find things and reply to emails. You can have autoresponders. You can have snippets that you're saving, templates of emails, all in there. So the idea is that you're using this one tool. There's a lot that you can do with it. You can also have like your own, basically like a Slack channel for your work with the chat feature. So that the automation of being able to link those different things. And then the second benefit is that communication, like I was talking about, that you've got like Slack, you can make different chat groups to keep information. Also, you can keep on different documents all the information and comments about the document changes right there in the document. So you can follow up with people. You can assign people tasks from within the documents, the spreadsheet, whatever it is. So just by using one system, that's really going to help you to be able to organize your information, not get as confused. The second pillar is Systematize. This is a system or a way to organize your information. Tiago Forte, who I talked about before with the second brain, has a system called Para. So if you're using something like Google, this is a simple way just to organize your files in Google. It's if you aren't just using the search bar, you want to be able to look and find it. So basically you're just creating 4 folders based on how you want to use the information. If it's a project that it's time limited, you're working on it now, an area could be like the different departments of your work, like finance, marketing, HR, things like that. Then you can have topic areas of, resources would be like templates, guides, research, things that you're kind of keeping to refer to. And then archives, anything you're not currently using but you don't want to delete. So having a simple, on a static system like Google, which is just a kind of think of it's almost like an electronic filing cabinet, right? But then you've got a system that's very simple for being able to find things. Number 1, use the search bar. Number 2, use Para, those 4 folders, and everything will go in one of those 4 folders. Now, an even more complex system, which I prefer, is something more like a web. And Google doesn't really do this, but the newer apps like Notion, ClickUp, they do this. They allow you to keep documents and spreadsheets like Google does. But in addition to that, every document or page has all kinds of tags and links. So if you're on one document, you can find every other document that it's linked to. Also, we're able then, because everything's in one place, and tag different ways, you can create different views and filters. So this is a next level. If you aren't even using just one system, I wouldn't go there, but I want you to think about how you can access this information. So you're capturing that information. Now you need to find a way that you can use the information and find it, and you don't spend all this time lost searching for it, which is where most people are losing it. And again, the other benefit is you've got all the information right there when you need it. You can create dashboards so it's like one place where everybody can see the most important metrics, for example, that you're following at that time. And you're not having to look in a bunch of places. It's going to save you a lot of time, and that's time that you can spend serving your clients and increasing your revenue for your business. So the third pillar is to regularly review whatever system you have. Anything you set up, just like my garden, I can't just plant the plants and forget about them, right? Weeds are going to grow. They need pruning. You need to have a regular system to go through and kind of reorganize, clean out, because junk just collects over time. The easiest way to do this is if you just schedule some time every week, and that helps you. Well, the first thing I do is make an inbox. And in this inbox is anything I don't really know what to do with. And once a week, you could go through that inbox and decide, where does it go? If you're using the Para system or one of these more linked systems, that's one way to clean it out. Another is if you, on a more monthly basis, maybe looking at big picture or a quarterly basis, when you look at what is the structure I need? Do I need to move things into archives or projects. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect, but the idea is that you schedule a time on your calendar every week, once a quarter, that you're going to go through and intentionally spend some time to clean that out. It's your spring cleaning, it's your weekly cleaning, just like you would have done for your house, and it keeps things in order. So let's review that again. We've got number 1 is have one place to put everything, capture everything in one place. Number 2 is you're going to create a system to review or be able to find the information when you need it. So 1 is to store it, 2 is to be able to retrieve that information. And the third system is finding a way to clean it up regularly. So a quick recap. For your business to scale and for you to stay sane and not be completely overwhelmed, you need to build the second brain system to be able to manage all that information that's out there overwhelming you. And you want to follow 3 rules. Number 1, capture your information in one platform or at least as few as possible. 2, create a system for how you can organize and connect your information. Thinking about where that information goes. And 3, review your system regularly to do the necessary housekeeping on it. Now, how do you set up this system? First of all, I want you to do some research. Not every system is good for every business. I have recommendations for different software for different businesses. It depends on your needs. So I would say focus on your biggest need. Is it to manage all your to-dos and tasks? Or is it kind of knowledge management? You've just got a lot of information. And look at a system that prioritizes that. You can use AI to help you. It will search reviews. You can put in there just tell AI, these are the things that I need to do with my business. These are the normal tasks. You can also tell a little bit about what systems you've used in the past, what you like, and say that you want something to do as much of what you need to do as possible so that you can stick with hopefully one system or fewer systems. Then pick out of that research, pick 2, maybe 3 that you are going to look at a little bit more closely. Just give yourself a timeline, say 2 weeks, and then you're going to decide, right? So first is research, give yourself max 2 weeks. Second, decide which one. Just go with it. There's not going to be a perfect system. Don't worry about this, what we call satisficing. You find the one that solves like 80% of your problems. There will be one that does that. You will not find one that solves 100% of your problems, but make the decision, and I want you to go all in on that one. Really try to figure it out and commit to it. Don't second guess yourself. And now that you've made the decision, you want to just make that decision work. You can make that software work for you. And chances are it's still going to be better than what you had before. And you have to set that 2-week timeline, because if you don't, you are going to spend a year or 2 years trying to decide which software. And meanwhile, your business information is getting more and more lost, more and more overwhelmed, more and more messy. The sooner you make this decision, the quicker you're going to be able to save time. And remember, we're talking like a day a week that you could be saving in your time. After you make that decision, I want you to start simple. Don't just go, you're committing 100%, but just start with one thing. So for example, maybe just start by putting everything in there. And simply by having everything in there, at least you can use the search bar to find the information. So just getting everything in one place is going to be helpful. And depending on the software you get, a lot of times the company will migrate the information over for you. So you can do that. Then lastly, put aside some time to learn. I know you're stressed and overwhelmed right now. You've got too many things on your plate. But the time that you spend now, that hour you sacrifice to learn the new software, will save you hundreds of hours down the road. Because each day that you delay learning that system is creating more time that you spend searching and trying to figure it out. So let's look at this again. For your business to scale and for you to stay sane, as we said, you need to stop relying on what your brain can remember and a million different systems, and build a digital second brain that is going to help you capture the information, organize it, make it so that you can find it again. So we need that first pillar is to capture the information, put everything in one place. Second pillar is you're going to systematize it. Have a clear system for organization like Para so that you can find the information when you need it, and that's going to be your power. And that's creating the life that you want by finding that information. Third, you're going to review that system on a regular basis to clean it up. And once you schedule it in, it's going to be a lot easier to do it. So if you're ready to start putting these systems into place, but you aren't sure where to begin, I have a email course, a no-cost email course, business growth email course. It's simple weekly email that breaks down one step at a time that helps you to focus on what is the next step for you, and it's going to get all of your foundational business systems running. Stop that chaos, one email at a time. Sign up today at cordslindow.com/business-growth. And right now, go and schedule your review so that you can clean up your information each week. By blocking that time, you're going to start finding clarity and be able to work on what is most important to you and really move the needle for your business. I'll talk to you next week.